Hello, hello. Good evening. How are you doing today? And welcome back to Taisho XLS, where I'm still not sure if you actually pronounce the X or not. Because as it is with lots of Japanese media, where they put an X, you either don't pronounce the X at all, or you pronounce it very differently, and you say cross. Because they like write the X and go, yeah, that's supposed to be pronounced as a cross, which doesn't make sense to me, but I get it. It looks cool. How are y'all doing tonight? We are about to find out what happens in the other world in this game with Cinderella. Because we did not get enough from dating fairy tale characters with, you know, Red Riding Hood. No. Now we're gonna go for Cinderella, who I honestly forgot also everything else about, but that's fine, right? That's what we're here for. We just pretend that I have never seen this game in my life. So that's going to happen. I don't know why there's no sound. I think the game just does not have sound at this point because it's on. Oh my fucking god, big news! I do. Exposed. Oh no. Whatever will I do? Now everyone knows my secret. Oh. Alrighty. Let's get going then, shall we? I want some background music finally. Hello, game. Once upon a time, in the Looking-Glass world, there lived a selfish, arrogant young upstart named Cinderella. His father, a commoner, was the founder of Cinder Textiles, a self-made man who had amassed an incredible fortune over his lifetime. Heir to his father's assets, Cinderella grew up having everything handed to him on a silver platter, and as an adult he became a notorious playboy. Wait, who is that? That's the guy who also voices Ray in Free. I hear that. I can hear that as soon as he started talking. But who did voice him actually? It's been so long since I heard the guy. Oh, Daisuke Hirakawa. That makes sense. That makes sense. In my head, all I see is Rei Ryugazaki from Free, but because of the voice. But good for him. Cinderella looking kind of different nowadays. A little, just a little, you know. Every weekend he held a banquet. Or banquet, I don't know. He wore only the finest clothes from the finest brands, and his wristwatches were all studded with jewels. Crowds of people flocked to him wherever he went. Hi! Oh no. He's rich. Reminds me of the ocean. Oh. Jesus. Eh? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, they said he was a playboy. Okay. Mansions, condos, luxury cars, you name it. If he wanted it, he bought it. Ah. Well, but it's a story about Cinderella. Cinderella wasn't actually rich, right? I wonder why. No, I do remember. It was like people only flocked to him because he had a bunch of money. So no one actually was really friends with him. They only all just looked at his money. I think that was the story. You don't even know how much money he needs, don't just give him a loan. He lived a glamorous life most people could only dream of. Oh, who knew him, respected him, feared him, and eagerly kissed up to him. Isn't that the exact problem? Okay, so Snow White is Shirayuki Hime in Japanese. But Gretel is just Gretel. Wow! Hey, hi, welcome! Thank you so much for the sub! How's Fairy Tales? Yeah. We will see how the Fairy Tales are. The moment a guy turns around, all the money's turning to sand. Yeah, I don't... Listen, he might have had money at some point, but I don't think he has it anymore. So, like... What happens if you don't have money, but you spend it? Snow White is also a love interest, I think, in the third game. Good evening, how are you? Also good to know that apparently Cinderella and Snow White and Gretel are brothers. I didn't know fairy tales work that way. Cinderella had two younger brothers, neither of whom looked much like him. He made them both work for him at the cafe. From cooking to cleaning, he forced all the most annoying jobs on them. You're tired, aw. Me too, though. I'm also tired. Good thing it's not as hot today as the other days, but still. Well, you could argue that at least Snow White looks a little like him. If you squint. Oh, he talks so slow. Okay. Oh, he's a real big shot, huh? Similar to your close, he has to look at the wall. Why do you do it then if you know that they only want to mooch off of you? Oh. I see. Well, that's not very nice. Okay, thank you for coming by. No Gator. See you later, no Gator. Very capitalism brain. Just a tad. His pouty face is cute though. Well, I'm very interested in seeing which love interest I like most once we're through with all of the games. Because like I know Cinderella's story, and obviously we know Red Riding Hood's story by now, and out of those two I prefer Red Riding Hood, but even then I feel like it's not my favorite. Ooh, you shouldn't have said that. See, look at him. Like, Gretel doesn't look anything like the other two. Like, not at all. Also, Gretel looks like he could be from which idol series is this? I think in Idolish 7 there's a guy who has similar hair. Love that show? I haven't actually seen it. I know some characters from having seen fan art of them. I know some songs, but... Oh, you guys sound like you get along very well. What an interesting combination of siblings. Okay! I mean, you get that bread! Focus on the eyes, I can kind of see. Cinderella Nisan. Who is Snow White? Who's Snow White's voice actor? I know this guy. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I want to know. Oh, Ishota. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I could have known that. His heart, his money, his life, all the color in his world had faded to an ashen grey, and they called him Cinderella. Okay. Forgot about the bread, huh? Once upon a time, in a looking-glass world, there was a mansion. Wait, what? It was nearly midnight, and all the good boys and girls were meant to be in bed. But as I was decidedly not a good girl, that night found me sneaking around the mansion in the dark. Arriving at the front door, I reached for the knob. Oh, sure, that's my favorite book. Don't remind me. So, who's your favorite character in Pop Team Epic? Aoi Shota. Oh, you mean the character that's voiced by Aoi Shota? No. Aoi Shota himself. Okay. I yapped in surprise at a sudden voice behind me. That voice could only belong to one person. After all, he was the only other resident in his house. What's the matter, Kaguya? Why are you stopping me? Smiling nervously, I turned to face my loyal servant Kaguya, who grinned back. Kaguya. Kaguya? Do you pronounce the U in Kaguya? Because I always say it very German. I always say Kaguya. Kaguya. In case you're wondering, Poppet is a term of endearment that means something to the effect of sweetheart. While I'm at it, bird means girl, and in it is how he says, isn't it? Dialects are fun. I'm not... They are! I'm not gonna put myself in danger, I'm just stepping out for some fresh air. Admittedly, this excuse probably would have been more credible if I hadn't been carrying a large suitcase in one hand. Don't worry, I'll come right back. I'm just going for a walk. Yeah, that's it. I like how he talks. No, he's in the third one. In the second one, you have a route for Gretel and Snow White. In the third one, you have a route for Kaguya and the Wizard. I think. And the fourth one, I have no clue. And I'm afraid I will spoil myself if I look up anything for the fourth one. I'm not running away, I'm just leaving for a while, that's all. Kaguya was generally a patient man, and one always faltered in the face of his sudden naked fury. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Instantly I knew he was going to do everything in his power to stop me. But I couldn't possibly back down, and so, clasping my hands together, I pleaded like my life depended on it. Please, Kaguya, let me go. Silence fell between us. Oh, he's not happy. When I finally opened my eyes again, Kaguya heaved the world's biggest sigh. Ooh, arranged marriage. What arranged marriage, you ask? Let's rewind to a few days ago. Oh, thanks. Thank you, game. It all started one fine afternoon. What's this? Kaguya handed me a hot cup of tea along with a mysterious manila folder. Do you feel the danger of the upcoming Steam set? Oh yeah. I can feel it in my bones. Do we already have a date, or like it's only like people going? It's going to happen soon. Since when do I have a fiancé? Sure enough, the folder contained a photo of a man I'd never met, as well as his personal records. Oh, I got ooh! Oh god. My poor wallet. Well, surprisingly, I don't actually have that many games on my wishlist that I desperately want right now. Like, I use my wishlist as kind of, you know, a list where I simply just put every single game on that sounds kind of interesting, and then when they're actually on sale and I look through, it's like, I don't actually want them, but I never take them off. Your felt like Yoji's like, ooh. Interesting. Somehow it didn't feel real. Truth be told, I didn't know the first thing about arranged marriage. I gazed at the photo. There the man was depicted holding a long stick of some kind. A billiard cue, perhaps. Why isn't he looking at the camera? This was the first question that came to my mind. In fact, the man in this photo scarcely seemed to have noticed the camera at all. Granted, this was my first experience as a prospective fiancé, as it were, but weren't they supposed to try a bit harder to look presentable? Eh? You took this without permission? You do realize he could sue you for that, right? I looked up to find Kaguya smiling innocently. Yet. Oh, so it's okay as long as you don't get caught? There were so many things wrong with that statement, I could have kept going, but I had a feeling I'd only end up giving myself an ulcer? My gaze fell back to the documents. All of his personal information was listed there, from his full name to his address. What sort of man is he, this Cinderella? Oh wait, we're in an arranged marriage with the Cinderella himself? I had a feeling Kaguya probably shouldn't have let that slip, but he didn't seem all that bothered. I stared at him. He smiled sheepishly. Wait, but if we're in an arranged marriage with him, this route will be over fast. No, probably not. But they don't want me to say no, do they? I don't feel like Cinderella would be the kind of guy who would actually accept an arranged marriage though. Now this I promptly dropped the folder back onto the table. Okay, that settles it. I'll meet with him and have the marriage talk. Oh, so why exactly are you trying to run away from home right now? And that brings us to tonight. I said I'd talk with him. I never said I was ready to marry him. Arranged marriage is a very interesting topic that I have personally never seen happen in real life. Like, I mean, it is still very much a thing, but just not here? Question mark. I know that. In fact, I practically sealed the deal. I came from a fairly wealthy family myself, but from the sounds of it, our fortune was merely a drop in the bucket compared to his. And I knew our families wouldn't attempt to arrange his marriage unless there was some foreseeable benefit for both sides. So I wasn't about to throw it all in the trash just for my own convenience. Not when I knew they were all counting on this to work. On this working out, Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, Kaguya tilted his head at me. Oh, you didn't actually use that many words the first time around. You never said any of that. At this point, it's practically slender. He was clearly playing dumb, of course. Why was he so eager to trash talk the Cinderella guy anyway? I cleared my throat. Listen here, Kaguya, I don't approve of you bad-mouthing someone you've never even met, nor do I approve of gossip. That's why I've decided to see for myself exactly what sort of person he is. Kaguya's smile weakened a fraction of an inch, so I pressed on. I know you get in trouble for this, and I'm sorry, but I can't stay here. If I don't do this, I just know I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. I can't marry a stranger. I need to learn more about him first. I think in Germany, most people... Yeah. Right. That was my way of thinking as well. I mean, to be fair, I've also only ever been to 2 weddings in my entire life, so I'm not really well versed in the entire topic. His tone was gentle. In response, I put my hands on my hips. Taisho! I've got this little beauty right here. With an air of confidence, I pulled out the manila folder. The info doc inside had a mailing address listed for him. Thus, I decided I would track down his house, find him, and observe him for a few days. Unfortunately for me, life was about to throw a wrench into my plans. Oh. Why didn't you tell me that earlier? What? He's not? I stared blankly back. Nowhere in this folder did it say he was living somewhere else. This meant, of course, that my plan was sunk. After a long moment of silence. Oh, we can give up immediately. Isn't that a little too fast? But yeah, if you give up immediately, you get a bad end. Of course, we don't want that. We ask Kaguya for help. Could you tell me where you're staying now? I put on my best puppy dog eyes. Thank you, Kaguya. And so it was that Kaguya joined me on my nighttime excursion. Kaguya is such a great guy. Not only did he agree to come with me, but he insisted on carrying my luggage and even gave me his coat. A true gentleman. Oh, and don't worry about my parents. I'll do everything in my power to vouch for you, and if they get mad about this, I'll explain to them that it wasn't your fault. Though my parents frequently traveled all over the country for work and were scarcely ever home, they kept in regular contact with Kaguya. I see. So, the main setting of her parents never being home and her living in this house are still the same. But this time she has a butler? I guess instead of a big brother. I don't think the huntsman guy exists in this universe. And on the off chance they found out about me sneaking out of the house at night to go track down my future fiancé, I knew they'd be furious. But Kaguya didn't deserve to take the brunt of that anger, so I needed to stand up for him. After all, I was the one who dragged him into this. Where's that mask? Where does... Like the line that connects the mask to his hair just stops in the middle of his head. It doesn't even go around the entire way. How does that mask hold? He patted me on the head. He's cute though. Who voices you? Toshiki Mazda. I have no fucking clue who that is supposed to be. I've never seen that guy in my life. Nope. Kirishima in Hero Academia. Eh? Oh, he sounds a little different in that one then. Inoshita and Haikyuu. Well, he hasn't voiced that many things yet. Interesting. Cute character design though. Are you sure about this? If they found out how much you helped me, they'd grill you for sure. It's just to show that, yeah. But it's a little weird. Like they could have made it so, I don't know, it goes into the hair, so you'd at least think, ah, okay, it just you know, is tied around the head. But that's just me nitpicking. Thank you so much, I love you. I was so touched I wrapped my arms around his neck and gave him a big hug. Aww. He stroked my back like he was consoling a child. This was precisely why I liked him so much. Too bad we don't get to date him in this game. How does a long piece of cloth behind his back stay up there? True. True. Concentrated power of will. That's the power of an anime character. This is where Cinderella lives. With Kaguya leading the way, we soon arrived at the shopping district. With its high altitude that kept things nice and cool in the summertime, the Looking Glass World was a popular resort location. Are you telling me that's the name of the city? Looking Glass World? Right? The shopping district in particular was quite sophisticated. The main street was lined with museums and other historical buildings, and there were plenty of shops and cafes for the tourists. That said, they were all closed by now, as you'd expect from a sleepy little town like ours. Oh. That's the name of the town. Totemo suteki. Yes, sir. Alright. Sorry about that. That was my mom. And now my tracking doesn't work. Again. I love that. I love that for myself. Can I just please have one stream without anyone coming into my room? Oh, the tracking not working anymore. I hate it here. At least the music is funky. No tired, no sleep. Yeah. No upset with trekking. Come on. Hello? Please. I'm surprised you guys still like me enough that you actually deal with this all the time. Okay. Okay. Well, guess I'll have to live with funny eye fuckery with this tracking, but at least that one works. Alright. I dashed out into the middle of the street and twirled around giddy with excitement. You did subscribe on my Splatoon stream. You've seen worse, is that what you're trying to say? You've already seen me at my worst. The town's so pretty at night. Though the shops were closed, there were still lights on in a few windows. But that wasn't the only light, of course. There were also street lamps, as well as the moon and stars shining down on us from above. Behind me, Kaguya chuckled at my antics. Indeed, the shopping district was enjoyable at any hour of the day. I turned to respond. Whoops. Before I could catch myself, I slipped and promptly face-planted on the ground. Ow. That was painful, and by painful I mean painfully embarrassing. Kaguya rushed over to me and helped me to my feet. Thank you. No, just my pride. That's hurt. No, I'm fine. My body ached from the impact, but otherwise I was fine. No cuts or scrapes. Oh no, it's just a dress. He brushed the grime from my clothes. I couldn't see much out here in the dark, but evidently the dirt stains were especially noticeable on the white fabric of my dress. Oh, it's no big deal, it'll come out in the wash. I did as requested, and he rubbed my palm clean with the handkerchief. Now your handkerchief's gonna be all grimy. The concept of, you know, reusable handkerchiefs, you know, out of fabric that you keep on your person to use all the time and then wash them, is, I like it. Like, I think having a pretty handkerchief with you could be nice, but I just know that, I don't know, I'd never use them because I wouldn't want them to get dirty if they're pretty, right? Thanks, Kaguya. He patted my head. I will try. Yes, sir! Without hesitation, Kaguya took me by the hand and led me down the street. And that's how we found ourselves standing outside a fancy brick building. What is this place? I had a feeling I knew the answer, but decided to ask anyway, just in case. Wouldn't want to bust down the wrong person's door after all. Aha, yes! Typical new game! Here's the cafe! Wow, that's crazy! I'm impressed he started a business at such a young age. My interest in Cinderella instantly skyrocketed. That infodog hadn't mentioned anything about a cafe. Clearly, I made the right choice in coming here to see him for myself. Or so I thought until... Well... Kaguya unceremoniously killed my hype. Well, it's still really cool that he's running the place all on his own. I dug in my heels. Oh. And so my dreams were similarly crushed. Instantly, my mental image of Cinderella transformed from a working-class hunk to an upper-class snob. I hastily shook the thoughts from my mind. After all, I wasn't right to jump to conclusions about someone I'd never even met. Jeez, Kaguya, you must really have it out for this guy. He does. He doesn't like him very much. Betsuni. He shrugged his shoulders, chuckling. Kaguya was normally a pretty nice guy, but for some reason all compassion went out the window when it came to Cinderella. I almost wanted to ask him if he was jealous, but I had a feeling he probably just dodged the question. I knew all of his usual tactics. Hoping to switch gears, I glanced back at the cafe. There was no sign out front, so it was kind of hard to tell it was a cafe at all. The lights were on, suggesting the place was still open, and I could faintly hear classical music playing over the low murmur of voices. Are they holding some kind of event here? Bringing with curiosity, I approached the front window. Well, maybe I'm just a guest, who knows? I'll be fine. I slowly peered inside the building. Evidently there was some sort of party going on. People were dancing, drinking, and generally having a good time. Nice cafes are relatively good gating spots, I hear. True. Now, which one of them is Cinderella? I scanned the guests looking for the man from the photograph. Unfortunately, I had next to no confidence that I could pick him out from the crowd. Yeah, maybe not. I sighed. Ha 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 ha! The sudden voice behind me made me jump out of my skin. I'm sorry, I'm not looking to rob you, I swear. I rolled around and my jaw dropped. Standing there was a guy dressed all in white. I'm sorry, what's your definition of all in white, Yurika? What's your definition of white? My mind went blank mid-sentence. His striking appearance had completely blown me away. Everything about him was as white as snow, even his hair. I'd never seen anyone like him. He was beautiful. A moment of silence passed. As I ogled him up and down, the guy looked away from me and stared down at the ground in discomfort. Sorry, do you work here? He didn't meet my gaze. Oh gosh, what do I do? Kaguya... What the... Panicking, I turned to Kaguya for help, only to find that he had seemingly vanished, leaving only my suitcase behind. I immediately looked around the area and spotted him waving at me from around the corner of the building. Do you know... Attempting to bounce back from his betrayal, I decided to ask the guy flat out, but the words quickly died in my throat. What was I thinking? I couldn't ask him about Cinderella directly. As a prospective fiancé, there was a good chance that Cinderella knew all about me by now. And if he were to find me here, he'd surely realize I'd come here to essentially investigate him, and he'd probably be really offended. Not only would the marriage talks be called off on the spot, but Kaguya would probably get in huge trouble. And so silence fell between us once more. The first time I had a fairly good excuse, considering his appearance was so stunning, but twice? I really needed to get my act together. I struggled to think of an excuse. I mean, it is a cafe. You could just go in, yes? No, I can't. Because, I couldn't think of a good explanation for that either. Because, I racked my brain desperate to think of something, anything, but in my panic I could only open and close my mouth like a goldfish. Then as silence fell for a third time, my stomach let out a loud gurgly growl. That's weird. How am I hungry again after the big dinner we ate? He totally heard that too. Kill me now. The guy reluctantly took hold of me by the arm. Ooh, pretty eyes. Huh? And so he led me away, his fingers like ice against my skin. Confused, I looked back at Kaguya, only to find that he had once again vanished into thin air. Et tu, Kaguya! Et tu, Kaguya! The mysterious guy led me through the cafe's side entrance and into what appeared to be the kitchen area. That's a very nice kitchen. The kitchen was spacious and clean, furnished with a table and 4 chairs. The guy gestured for me to take a seat, and so I did. Then he sat down across from me, elegantly crossed his legs, and picked up his book. Wait? Thank you. Placed before me was a plate stacked with colorful rectangular things. What is this? I looked up to find a different, more smartly dressed guy staring back at me. Oh, he still hasn't gotten rid of his shortbread. You made these? That's awesome! The butter cookies I knew were generally plain and unadorned, but this shortbread was quite the opposite. They were brightly decorated with sprinkles, sugar pearls, and powdered sugar of all different colors. They were so gorgeous, they looked less like snacks and more like jewelry. Can I have one? With his blessing, I took one from the plate. Then I took a bite and... Oishii! It was so good I couldn't help but squeal in delight. This is the best cookie I've ever had. I could eat the whole plate. Oh. What? No, don't throw them away. The guy flinched and I realized I'd inadvertently shouted in his face. Oh, sorry, I got a little overexcited there. Wait, Snow White is the middle brother? Gretel is the youngest? Oh, they don't look like it. Nope. He glanced over at the guy sitting across from me and I followed suit. So you're Snow White. What a lovely name. It suits you to a T. It was my honest opinion, and yet he didn't even look up from his book. Nice to meet you, Gretel. My name is... Just then a certain realization hit me. I completely forgotten this was Cinderella's cafe, and now here we were in the kitchen, an area that was almost certainly off limits to customers, which meant these men had to be Cinderella's employees, otherwise they couldn't have brought me here. Arisu, my name's Arisu. Desperate for a pseudonym, I gave them the first thing that popped into my head, my own surname. Nice going, me. Arisu. Yeah, Hiragana Alice. That's my name. Oh, you think so? Thanks. This had taken an unexpected turn. Apparently he misheard my name as Alice instead. Regardless, I decided to play along. Huh? Oh? I'm guessing he exists in this story more. There's another Alice? I tilted my head in confusion. It sounded like this other Alice person was somewhere in the building. Oh, interesting. So the second floor is designated living space, I take it. What's he like? I see. Gretel and Snow White struck me as fairly weird themselves, so I couldn't begin to imagine how weird this other Alice must have been. So your two brothers, right? Do you live here too? Wow, and you're so young too, so you three all, what's the term, tenants? I tried my best to not to make it obvious that I was digging for info. Cinderella's younger brothers! I leapt to my feet and nearly lunged across the table. Gretel looked at me dubiously and I realized my error. Oh, sorry. I hastily set myself back down in my chair. Yeah, of course. He's kind of famous in these parts, you know. Ooh, he says that about his own brother. Loath as I was to admit it, that was exactly in line with everything Kaguya told me. Are you really going to badmouth your own brother like that? Here, have more food. Greatly gestured to the plate of cookies on the table. Alright, thank you. At his prompting, I took another one and bit into it. The more I ate, the drier my throat started to feel. I looked up at Gretel. Sure, this was technically his cafe, but that didn't mean I felt comfortable asking him to fetch me a drink. Oh. Startled, I whipped my head around to look at Snow White. But he was still absorbed in his book. Nowhere, how's it going? Going good. How's it going with you? Welcome to his stream. Gretel hurried off to the sink to put water in the kettle. No, don't apologize. I'm the one mooching here. I hastily got to my feet and stopped him. I'll make the tea for us, if you don't mind, that is. Honestly, it has to be kind of weird. Like, you're just sitting in a cafe's kitchen right now. You don't know these people. They don't know you. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they know about the arranged marriage. Who knows? Now you're making them tea. You're sleepy today. Oh, I feel it. I feel it. I almost fell asleep today at work. I was just sitting there nodding with my head like, Thanks. I took the kettle, set it on the stove, and grabbed 3 cups from the cupboard. A few minutes later, I put steaming hot tea into each of the teacups. As the amber liquid descended into its porcelain constraint, the scent of citrus filled the room. Yeah, I'm an avid tea drinker. Yeah, I drink tea all the time. What about you? To be fair, I only know how to pour like tea that is in tea bags. I have no clue how you make tea with like more raw stuff. I guess. Could you take a nap after work? No. No. So I'm gonna hopefully fall asleep right after stream and get some rest in. Like the entire week I've been up until almost 2 because I couldn't fall asleep, so that's not really good. But we'll get there soon enough. Oh, I see. Once I finished pouring a cup for everyone, I carried them over to the table. Here you are. He says. Ooh. He smiled faintly. Pain. Yeah, I will. I'm just gonna drop into bed in like 2 hours probably. Glad to hear. What about you, Snow White? But Snow White promptly closed his book and got to his feet. Yes, Snow White doesn't eat or drink. Like, where are you going? And he walked out of the kitchen without another word, leaving his untouched cup of tea behind. Did I upset him? Gretel waved her hand dismissively. Why? Wait, Snow White, is it because of the poison apple? What? He doesn't like food. How can anyone not like food? But how does he live? Like, I get being picky about food. I get not eating a lot of food. Oh, those are all very valid. I know. I'm a very picky eater. I can't. Not just that, but also there's lots of stuff I simply cannot eat because it's not good for my body. But like, you have to eat something, right? Also, thank you so much for the posture check. And hydrate time. So what does he eat then? Surely he's gotta eat something. And Gretel picked up his teacup and shrugged. Wait, you live with him, but you don't know what he eats or if he eats? Once. An apple. That's it? That must be why he's so small and frail looking, like a Before I could finish my sentence, Gretel plunked his teacup down onto the table with a thud. Yeah, I don't think he likes being called girly looking a lot. Why is that? I mean, he's very pretty. Even if it's a compliment? Oh. But he's so pretty.
男に可愛いや綺麗というのはあまり褒め言葉になりま
Well,
せん。
get used to it then. You're pretty boys in a visual novel. I'm gonna call you pretty as much as I want. Why not? Because it's a girl thing?
よくわかっておいでで。
Get over yourself. Now that I think about it, I wouldn't really want to be called manly, but then again, I wouldn't mind if someone called me badass.
ですが、やはり可愛いや綺麗と言われる方が嬉しいでしょ。
Why not both? Yeah, I suppose I would.
意外と素直なんですね。
Yep, life's just more fun this way. I curled my lips in a playful smirk and greatly grinned in kind. But that was where our peaceful little moment came to an end. Oh god. One drunk guy coming through. Just then the door flew open and the overpowering stench of alcohol blew in. And who should walk in but none other than Cinderella himself. Gretel shot a disgusted scowl at the intruder. No empathy for the people who drink too much? Nope. Every time Cinderella opened his mouth, he exuded alcohol fumes. Sir, are you alright? I hadn't expected to encounter him quite as quickly, but he looked so ill that I couldn't help but worry about him. He looked at me suspiciously and I flinched. Nothing about this had gone according to plan. I only came to observe him. I didn't mean for him to find me so soon. Oh, should I be honest with him? Should I tell him, hi, I'm Yurika Arisa and I'm here to learn more about you? Wait. Cinderella didn't really seem that interested in me. Instead, he headed for the sink, clinging to the wall as he went. Wait. I grabbed him by the shoulder, but he shook me off and kept going. Then he came to a stop, clapped a hand to his mouth, and doubled over. No. No, please. In the kitchen! Bro, people eat here. People prepare food here. Ooh. Lightning outside. Cinderella and Gretel sat at the table. Meanwhile, I was washing the dish rag in the sink. For making them go away. If it's possible, you could try closing the window. If possible, and you have good headphones that can block out outside noise, put those on. If you want to scream at strangers who do their job, you could also tell them to, you know, try and do the construction work a little not so loud. Or you could ask them when they're finished. So you'd at least know for how long you still have to suffer. We have had our next door neighbors at work are getting, I don't know, the entire garden area, outside area trimmed and everything. So whenever we open the window at work currently, it's always like the entire day. I wish they were finally done, but the area is simply too big. Too big! Oh my fucking god. Look at his bride. Oh, he likes doing that. Good scream. Yep. Gretel! The way things were going, Gretel's punishment was bordering on inhumane. Wait, I think I read something about Gretel being a very yandere love interest. I can see it with that sprite. You don't draw an entire sprite like this for a character who wouldn't act on that. No, you don't. Yada na.
お前のような天使がいてたまるか。気持ち悪い。くそ。あいつら安酒なんて持ってきやがって。
Are you feeling any better now at least?
最悪だ。
Damn.
こっちが最悪だよ。
でも吐いたら少しはすっきりしたぜ。
Yo, that was a good thunder out there, Jesus.
もっとすっきりさせるために。
Maybe I could beat? Are you good? Gretel cracked his knuckles, a pleasant smile on his face.
マジでやめろ。お前は俺を永眠させる気だろ。
Please don't beat your brother to death. Here, use this. I handed Cinderella my handkerchief. Frowning, he looked from me to the handkerchief and bag, then his lips twisted a malicious grin. Huh? I will gag you with this thing until you... Oh. I was a little caught off guard by his haughty attitude, but nevertheless I promptly retracted my offering. Okay, if you don't want a handkerchief, I go. It's fine. Who, me? I stopped short and tilted my head and thought, did he not recognize me? I'm not. I'm not. I remember why I didn't like his route that much. Like by the end of it, he kind of grew on me, but his general attitude is awful. I'm not a dog. Why did you say that then? Do you not know who I am? I decided to ask him flat out. Oh, you're going to feel so awful by the end of this, Cinderella. Believe me. I was right, he doesn't recognize me. I agree. Also, my name is not Jane. Mr. Ooh, I have money. I don't need your money, thank you. Wow, Gretel looks fucking fed up. Gretel looks like how I feel talking to him right now. Like... That's... But before I could stop him, What? Cinderella took a big swig of the tea I had originally made for Snow White. Really? Thank you. It had to have been ice cold by now, but evidently he liked it just fine. He checked the rest of it, then set the cup down and looked back at me. I used your tea leaves? The ones you have in the kitchen? Oh, I just used what you had available here.
Well, maybe you just suck at preparing it then, huh? Ever thought about that, Mr. Huh?
Well, the flavor can change depending on how you brew it, so maybe that has something to do with it? I couldn't tell if he was actually impressed or simply giving me a perfunctory response. Then he looked me up and down and said,
あんたここで働かないか
no. Like, honestly, if I was her right now, I would say no. Leave and tell my parents I'm not marrying that snob. I couldn't believe it. Who, me? Never in my wildest dreams did I see this coming.
ああそうだちょうど人を探してたんだ白雪は役に立たねえしグレーテルは歌詞しか作れないしな
悪かったですね。
Excuse me, princess.
あんた飯を作るのは好きか
I do.
掃除と洗濯は
That too.
なら問題ねえなどうだあんたここで働いてみる
Well, at least he says he's going to pay me. Yes, please. Naturally, I agreed on the spot. It was the perfect opportunity. I couldn't possibly pass it up. I wish it was this easy to get a job, though. Like, okay, sure. Next time, I'm gonna walk into the side entrance of a cafe I like and go, hi. And then they go, oh, would you like to work here? And I go, yes. And they go, okay, sure, you start tomorrow. The two of us exchange a high five.
はあ？ちょっと本気ですか？こんな見ず知らずの人間を雇い入れるなんて正気の沙汰とは思えない。
Well, but my tea is good.
別にいいじゃねえかの
It's not like I do a worse job than you and your brother. I clasped my hands together and batted my eyelashes. Pretty please? He didn't flinch, but after a moment he let out a long, resigned sigh.
まあ、ここはシンデレラ兄さんの店ですし、
Yay!
兄さんがいいなら僕も構いませんが。
Coffee time, coffee time.
じゃ決定だな
Thank you so much. We exchanged another high five. Actually I don't have anywhere to stay.
なら上の空いてる部屋を使えよその分給金は減らすけど
Works for me. Internally I did a fist bump.
今日からここが
That room looks
あんたの部
familiar.
屋だ
It's just
好きに使
the
って
walls
くれ
look a tiny bit different. This is my room? Wow. It was an adorable little room all decked out in pink and white. That's not pink, that's orange! How is that pink? Huh?
何ボケっとしてんだよ早く入れ
He pushed me inside. The whole room was clean and tidy. Evidently, it saw regular upkeep. Was someone living here recently?
あ別に誰も住んじゃねえ
Because it's so clean. It's just so cute and fully furnished too.
まあな大抵のもんは揃ってんじゃねえか
Gosh, I almost don't feel right moving into such a lovely
別
room.
にいいぜさっきも言った通り
I don't even know how much money I'm going to make, and I don't know how much rent is. But sure, okay. Thank you. I couldn't hide my excitement. It was more than I could possibly ask
おう
for.
おう俺に感謝しろ
Personality-wise, he came off as a little aggressive, but maybe deep down he had a heart of gold.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Honestly, I'd half expected him to dump me in some cobweb-ridden attic or something.
それはそうか
He fixed me with a stern look. Yes.
おいあんた服脱げ
Huh? Because they're dirty, right? You want me to repair you with my body? Now this was something I really did not see coming. Ow! He flicked me sharply in the forehead.
誰がてめえみてえな貧乏人を相手するかその汚ねえ服で
Mother...
ベッドに上がる気かって言ってんだよ
I don't even live in poverty! I'm literally your fiancé! And also rich to an extent. We're both rich. I just fell into the fucking mud outside of your cafe. Bro, Right. I looked down at myself. I hadn't noticed until just then, but here under the light, sure enough, there were dirt stains all over my dress. Must have been from when I face planted on my way here. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Wait, are you saying you'd be willing if I wasn't so poor? Well, I mean, I'm just checking. Not particular, you know. I stared blankly back at him. I thought he was a playboy though. Hmm? Yes, sir. Okay. もちろんです、店長。I gave him my best salute. I like that she is canonically bilingual, but technically everyone else has to as well. Has to be as well. Otherwise they wouldn't understand if he just randomly starts speaking Japanese. And, you know, in a Japanese original, randomly starts speaking English. I hope he doesn't forget all this when he wakes up the next day. That's very true. I cannot tell if he's still supposedly drunk off his ass or not.
Uwu voice for 2 minutes. Okay. So from now until... Okay. Sure. And with that, Cinderella left the room. Hehe. Once he was gone, I could finally let out the laugh I'd been biting back. Everything had worked out more perfectly than I ever could have imagined. Apparently, Cinderella and his brothers had mistaken me for commoner, or street rat, I guess. And now that I was going to be walking here, I'd have more than enough opportunity to get to know my prospective fiancé. Listen. The Pikachu doesn't work with the Uwu voice. I can give you Pikachu, but I cannot turn the Pikachu up more Uwu than it already is. How am I supposed to do that? What do you want the Pikachu to sound like? Like Pikachu? It's already... Pikachu! Pika! Pikachu! I cannot make it anymore. That's as far as I go. And now that I was going to be walking here, I'd have more than enough opportunity to get to know my prospective fiancé. Who's that new man? Dun dun dun. Bing! Thus I decided I would adopt the persona of Alice, the mysterious wife. Wife? Wife? What's a wife? Wife? Oh. I have an abandoned child? Huh? Neglected child. What? Strays. What? I have never heard that word before in my life. Never. Never. The mysterious wife. Okay. In order to learn more about Cinderella. While I couldn't pretend I wasn't worried about Kaguya, part of me was excited for the days ahead. Oh, that's right. I remembered Cinderella's suggestion and undid my corset. After tonight I was ready to pass out in bed, but first I need to change into my pajamas. Good thing I decided to bring a few days worth of clothes just in case. I wonder what I should do with my dirty laundry. But right as I unzip my dress and let it fall to my ankles. On second thought, maybe this won't be so easy after all. Props to him for finishing that sentence before leaving, I guess. Light shone against my eyelids and I stirred from my slumber. I sat up and stretched. Alright, I moved in with Cinderella last night. I opened the window to let some fresh air into the room. The golden rays of the morning sun felt warm against my skin. Alright, let's do this! And so began my new life at the cafe. As you know, my name is Alice, and so today I'll be joining a team. Thanks for having me. That morning, I donned my best cheer as we all met up downstairs. I got the sense that there was still some lingering awkwardness from last night, but I decided to ignore it.
よろしく、アリスさん。僕は厨房を担当しています。ちなみに、白雪兄さんはホール担当なんですけど。
君が入ったのなら、俺はホールから外れる。
What?
だそうです。代わりにあなたがホー
I've
ルを
never
担当
worked
して
in
も
a
らうこと
cafe
になり
though.
ますが、よろしいですか？
Sure, no problem. But if it gets busy, I'd appreciate it if you could still help me out. I shot a hopeful look at Snow White. He's like, the cafe never gets busy though. Apparently that's a yes.
両者納得がいったようですね。とりあえず難しいことはありません。お客さんが来たら席に案内して、注文を取って用意ができたら。
Yeah, sounds simple enough, yeah. That's pretty much what I was expecting. Are there any special rules? Do I have to greet each customer in a certain way?
特にないので自由でお願いします。いらっしゃいませ旦那様でもご主人様でも構いません。ああ、ですが一つだけ注意点が。
What's that?
僕がお菓子を作っている間は絶対に厨房を覗かないでください。
What are you doing in our kitchen? Under any circumstances?
絶対に。
Okay. Why? I tilted my head in confusion, but Gretel showed me an intimidating smile that screamed, "Mind your own business, bitch." Okay, promise not to go into the kitchen. I had my hands up like he had me at gunpoint.
ありがとうございます。では、早速僕は厨房にこもらせていただきますので、後のことはすべて白雪兄さんとあなたに一任します。それでは。
Okay. With a wave, he turned on his heel and began to walk away. Wait, how do I communicate the customer's order to you if I can't go into the kitchen?
大丈夫ですよ。どうせ客なんて一人も来やしません。
He said as though it were the most obvious thing in the world. What? No customers. In the middle of the shopping district. Is that even possible? Okay, but what if we do get a customer?
万が一に客が来たとしても問題ありません。
Huh?
うちのメニューには軽食の一つも載っていませんから。
What? なぜそうなった？
彼の言っていることは本当だよ。
What kind of cafe doesn't have anything on its menu? Snow White chimed in.
うちにあるのは飲み物と本日のおすすめデザートの2種類です。
Okay, never mind. We do have some things on the menu. Okay, but
デザートは僕が適当に用意します。出来上がったらあなたを呼びますので、それまでは注文されたとしても断って。
Huh? What kind of cafe are you guys running? In other words, the entire menu was essentially tea. One word sprang to mind. Insane. Okay, just to be clear, this is a cafe, right?
はい。ですから、その名の通り、お茶を飲む場を提供しています。
You know, cafe means coffee in French, right? Are you sure that's all you need?
あなたが言いたいことはわかります。ですが、この店は兄の趣味で経営しているもので、メニューも僕たちが用意できるものしか用意していません。
Okay, and you cannot even prepare coffee. What about the siphon coffee maker? I pointed at the appliance that, as far as I could tell, was only there for decoration.
メニューにコーヒーはありませんが、使いたければどうぞ。
So listen, imagine you're walking down the shopping district and you go, oh, this looks like a nice place. Look at that. It's a cafe. I wonder what they're like. And you go in and they sit you down. And then you're like, okay, I'd like to order. Is there anything, that you can recommend? And then your waiter's like, well, you can go make yourself some tea. And you're like, make myself some tea? Yeah. You can or coffee. You can just use the machine. We don't know how it works. We don't have coffee on our menu either. You can go there and make it yourself. Also, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. He's running a bad business for fun. He's probably writing red numbers, right? Like, he has to be making losses with this. He has to pay someone for the property, but he's not making any. Huh? What the fuck?
Hey, hello. How are you?
So we can use it, but it's not on the menu. Why? You've got a really nice oven in the kitchen too. You're doing pretty well. I'm glad. Right. Okay, so this is our... How many games have I played with cafes before? Why do the people never run the cafes the normal way? Why is it always weird in some sense? You know, like one cafe is like, yes, all our customers are dead. Alright, sure. The other cafe is like, you know, actually I don't know how to brew coffee. And there's a bunch of non-human pretty boys who give me gold to pay. And now this one is just running a cafe for I don't know what reason. Because this is not a cafe. It's a cafe in name, yes, but running a cafe normally wouldn't be as fun. That's, I guess. Hey, wait, who's going to clean the... But before I could finish my question, Gretel disappeared back into the kitchen. I looked around at the messy dining area, then back at Snow White. I guess we have to handle this mess ourselves. You mean yourself. I don't think Snow White is going to help. It's quite the odd cafe. Yeah. Finished, finally. I tossed my dust cloth in the end celebration. We'd taken out the overflowing trash, wiped down all the dusty shelves, and polished the floor with a fresh coat of wax. Now the cafe had been restored to its former glory. Hooray! Ow! Now all that's left is the kitchen. You're not supposed to go there, though. I hadn't seen Gretel since this morning. I didn't know what he was up to, but I promised him I wouldn't go in there, so there was nothing else I could really do. No sense in pushing my luck. I spun on my heel and accidentally slammed my elbow against a shelf. Ouch. Fatal Flaw was pretty normal. It was more place to hang out. Yeah. Like, technically, Rinka ran the cafe a little, but like, even then, the cafe in Fatal 12 was mostly just for the regulars and not for random people to go into. So I wouldn't really count it either as a normal cafe. Something fell and I hastily caught it with both hands. That was a close one. I had inadvertently knocked a little glass trinket from the top shelf. It had big round ears and a long thin tail. Is this a mouse? It wasn't the most appropriate decoration for a restaurant in my opinion, but at least it wasn't a real one. Cutie. I put the glass mouse back into the shelf where I had found it, then gently ran a finger over it. I didn't know who it belonged to, but I was relieved to see I hadn't broken it. With that crisis averted, I sat down on the counter and turned to Snow White, who was nose deep in on the counter. Didn't you just clean that counter? No customers, huh? It was just past noon, peak lunchtime hours, and yet the dining area was quiet. No sign of any visitors. Okay. Snow White didn't bother to look up from his book. Oop, ah! I didn't want to skip that. Pretty much had to be with a regular to get to be a regular. It's like... Rinka, like every other day she closed the shop, obviously because of everything that was happening. But then, like, imagine, I said it while we were playing it as well, like, oh yeah, I'm really in the mood to get a go to that cafe today, and you go there and there's just no one there. Oh, it's closed today. We don't know for how long. It's just closed. And you're like, okay. Then you come by the next day, same time. You think to yourself, oh wait, maybe they closed early yesterday. So, oh, you go there earlier. It's closed. At least when it's open, you get coffee. That's true. At least you did get good coffee. That's very true. Snow White was a great help to me this morning, in the beginning anyway. At first I had him do the dishes, but he kept breaking plates. Then when I told him to pick up trash, he threw everything into his trash bag seemingly at random. Eventually I realized it'd just be faster for me to do everything, so that's what I did. Great! He told me he'd never had to do chores around the house before. Paired with his feeble appearance, he struck me as the little prince type. Naturally, this begs the question, how on earth did this place ever get cleaned before I got here? Probably Cinderella himself who did it. Oh, that reminds me, where's Cinderella? I'd nearly forgotten our MVP. The entire point of coming here and walking here was to get to know him. I was so blown away by the idea of a cafe with no customers that I had momentarily forgotten all about him. Oh. Like where? I decided to change the subject. So, is that a good book? I don't understand why we don't have any customers. I mean, Gretel's such a good baker. Maybe they're intimidated. Or maybe it's because the menu's too limited. Do you think I could add to it, or would I get in trouble? Is I don't know your favorite kind of thing to say? Cinderella be MVP, yeah! Maybe I shouldn't. Oh, I know. Say if I made lunch for us, would you eat it? Okay. Would you be opposed to me cooking for everyone? He's so indifferent to everything. Okay, cool. Lastly, do you think they'd mind if I cleaned their rooms or did their laundry? Because I'm itching to do something. Technically, I am working in this cafe right now. But there's no customer, so I'm not doing anything. I feel like I need to earn my keep if I'm going to be living here with all of you. At this, finally, Snow White turned to look at me. I gotta agree with Snow White though. You're doing your job already, so why bother with anything else? If I was in his position, I would be reading a book too. In the very cozy atmosphere of a cafe that is totally empty though, I would be reading too. Well, the cafe's so slow, I don't feel like I'm really earning my wages, that's all. Okay then, I will. Snow White shot me a dubious look as I giggled. Oh god, he looks upset. I'm just really happy that you're talking to me, especially after last night. I thought maybe I upset you. He looked down at the floor. Your food and cafes is content for games you play, but somehow avoided to have both in one game so far. Right. Right. And like, it's not even on purpose. We just somehow always end up with either of the two. I see. This one does have food in the end though. Because she's going to turn this cafe into a real cafe, I think. What? Why would I be upset with you? Oh, you mean how you didn't drink it? I wouldn't blame you for being a little skittish. You barely know me after all. You tried though? You mean when we were cleaning? He didn't respond, but he didn't go back to his book either. You're just clumsy, it's not the end of the world. I appreciate your concern, but trust me, it takes a lot more than that to get on my bad side. Snow White looked directly into my eyes. What about him? I blinked back. Oh, well, I think he's a very generous man. It was my honest opinion, at least thus far.
そんな風に言ったのは
Yeah, I wouldn't.
君が初めてだ。
I mean, technically, he did give us a job and shelter for no reason at all, just because he liked our tea. But on the other hand, he also kept calling us a street rat. So, really, just me?
他人はシンデレラ兄さんのことをこう呼ぶよ。おごり高ぶり。
I don't think everyone calls him Big Brother Cinderella, but okay, I'll take it. Heart of Ash.
そうだ。綺麗な君は気づかない。灰にまみれ、汚れてしまった人の心なんて。
I paused for a moment. I'm sure he has a good heart under all that ash. Well, I'm sure he has a good heart under all that ash. I put my hands on my hips. Ever heard the phrase diamond in the rough? Sometimes you just need a little polish before you can really sparkle. Even if he does have a heart of ash, like everyone claims, it just proves that he's been through some rough times. He's a survivor. Besides, I can tell he's not a bad guy. Most people wouldn't hire a stranger off the street. Eee! Excuse me. Off the street, no matter how good their tea was. Goodbye, little aircon. Whoops.
君のことはただ服が汚れていたというだけで貧乏人と判断しても
Well, that's not nice, but... Oh, I don't hold it against him. I did kind of look like a hobo last night. Wait. Something fell off about this conversation. His question had been rather pointed thus far. Almost like he knew precisely how interested I was in Cinderella. Do you know who I am?
君のことは知らないけど兄さんが言うようなことはない
I see. I may not know who you are, but I know you're not telling us the truth. I'll take it.
君の言動や行動汚れる前の
Ah,
どれをとっても君はいいところの
at least someone who has eyes in their head. I smiled sheepishly. Evidently Snow White was one smart cookie. Do you think Gretel's figured it out too?
さあね彼は自分の興味の対象でなければ
Yeah, he seems the type.
それが何であれ深くは追求しないたちだ
Gotcha. What about you?
君が何者で何があってこんなことをしているのかはわからない
You do you as long as you don't get in my way.
俺に害が
I
な
don't
い
care.
限りは君のことをどうこうしようとは思わない
God, I really wonder what his personality will be like on his own route. So you keep my secret? He looked away. Thank you, you're an angel.
別に優しくもないし優しくした覚えもない
He's just doing it because it would be a pain. Otherwise. You sure about that? Because I feel like you want to help me. I can see it in your eyes. His eyes are closed.
見た目だけで判断されるのは嫌いだ
Okay, sorry. Such a shame. You could manipulate the pants off of someone with those looks. Predictably, he scolds.
君って全
Did
然
you
グラ
tell
サ
him
ン
anything though? No. No, she didn't. Like, she told them her name was Aris, which is technically... I mean, technically it is her name, it's just her last name. But she didn't tell them anything about herself. That depends. Do I look like a sheep or do I look like a wolf? I smirked mischievously. You don't want to be judged on appearance, but you judged me on mine. Hypocrite much. He looked away again and the smirk left my face. People are going to judge you on your looks whether you like it or not. That's just a fact of life. I mean, it's all they have to go on at first, you know? Works the same way in the animal kingdom too. They evaluate each other on external factors like whose wings are bigger or whose mating call sounds better. But when it comes to us humans, there's more to it than that. For example, over time you can often come to appreciate certain traits that might have put you off at first. The more time you spend with someone, the more your impression of them can change, because there's more to us than meets the eye.
綺麗事だね
Or maybe your brother's just a prick. Maybe he is, but I think I can come to understand him eventually as long as he'll give me a chance. Yeah, she isn't telling any lies, just hiding things. Exactly. And now here I am, so who knows? Maybe fate has already worked its magic. He felt silent, so I pressed on. You know, I've been wondering, why is it that you brought me inside last night?
ただの気まぐれだよ。
With that, he got to his feet. Where are you going?
一人になれるところを探しに。
Okay. You could have also just told me to shut up, you know. And so he walked out of the dining area without a second glance. Guess I scared him off. I sighed. Frankly, I was worried that my presence was a burden to Cinderella's younger brothers. I just hope we can get along. Oh, you can. No worries. In the end, not a single customer stopped by that day. Maybe we should do something about it. No, we definitely need to fix it. Meanwhile, I dished out a salad for tonight's dinner. When I told Gretel I wanted to cook for everyone, he said to me,
いいんじゃないですか?
"Yeah!" And that was that. Permission granted. I still need to check in with Cinderella as well as the other Alice who supposedly lived next door to me, but I hadn't seen either of them all day. In fact, I hadn't seen Alice ever, because he doesn't leave his room. I'd been hoping to introduce myself, but no matter how many times I knocked on the door, no one ever answered. At this point, I wasn't even sure anyone was actually in there. Oh no, he is in there. He can hear you knocking. If you're annoying enough, he will come out one day and tell you to fuck off. There, all done. With dinner now ready, I went to fetch Gretel. Here you are, bon appetit. When he arrived at the dinner table, he murmured in surprise.
驚いた。料理得意なんだ。
It's a salad. I don't know about talented. I just like to cook, that's all. The table was lined with sandwiches, salad, and a big pot of stew. Oh, okay, never mind. It's not just a salad.
これだけできるのなら得意と言ってもいいと思いますよ。
Then maybe I should end the talent show. Haha. I knew he'd only said it to be polite, but it still felt nice to hear. As I was grinning to myself, I realized he was giving me a dismal look. What? I tilted my head curiously, inviting him to speak his mind.
まるで奴隷のようですね。
Huh? It was so sudden and so very rude. You think so? I smiled back at him.
料理を作るのも洗濯も掃除も普通は他人のために無償で行いませんから。
But slaves only do it because they have to. I'm doing it because I want to.
ではあなたは誰のためにこんなことを?
Me? Because I like seeing people be happy when they get to eat my food. Well, I'm essentially doing it for my own benefit, but it indirectly benefits the rest of you too. I guess I do chores for the same reasons you bake. It's fun, and I'm good at it. I winked. Gretel raised his eyebrows and
あ
smiled.
なたは素直な人だ。
You don't either. Nope, and neither do you. Now eat up before it gets cold.
いただきます。
At last he began to eat my cooking. Cinderella's little brother sure a handful. Say, do you know if Alice is around?
いや、出かけてはいないと思いますよ。
Great, I should tell him dinner's ready.
やめておいた方がいいと思いますけど。
Why's that? At my question, Gretel tilted his head in a show of contemplation.
なるのなら実際にお会いしたらいかがですか?
Oh, right, I think we start bringing him food to his door. Was by all means the obvious solution. I don't think he'll answer the door. I've tried a few times now. I think he's ignoring me.
コツがあります。
Oh? Gretel curled his lips in a sinister grin. Uh-oh. Well, here I go again. Hello? Alice, are you there? I knocked on the door. No response, so I tried calling for him again. Hello, Alice? It's me, Alice from next door. After a long pause, I slumped my shoulders in defeat. He won't answer. This was no different from my previous attempts. No matter how many times I knocked or called his name, the person in the room never answered. I took a deep breath. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Alice, you freeloading scum! Pay your rent, you deadweight loser! And screamed insults at a total stranger at the top of my lungs. According to Gretel, this was a trick to get Alice to show himself. A moment later, the lock clicked and the door swung open. I straightened my posture and donned a smile. Time to meet this infamous Alice. Hi there! As of last night, I'm your new... Nice to meet you as well.
人は快適安眠ライフを送っていたというのにもかかわらず、どんどんと不遠慮に音を立てた挙句、大声で人の悪口か。 君は随分といい趣味をしているんだな。全く感心するよ。
Okay.
だいたいノックして1分経過した時点で出る気がないとなぜわからない。
I made food for you.
今時宅配便ですら1分も待たずに不在票を置いて帰るぞ。
They don't actually do that anymore. Not necessarily. The amount of times I had to go to the post office since Corona started is uncountable. Because they're like, oh, you know, we give the packages to the drivers, but they're not allowed to leave them there. So they throw you a nice little piece of paper that doesn't tell you anything because half the time they don't actually write anything on there. Then you have to go to the post office, wait in line with 15 other people. There's only 5 people allowed in the post office itself. It's a sweltering 33 degrees Celsius outside. And then you go in there and then they want you to pay even more for a package that was already put through customs. And then they go, oh no, actually it's not enough. So give us another $20. Not dollars. We don't pay in dollars, obviously, but... No, I'm not talking from experience. Not at all. Whatever makes you think that. I like nothing more than going to the post office. Outwalk the guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. Alright, you're a guy. I already knew this, but somehow it still came as a surprise. In fact, I scarcely even noticed his little tirade. You're about to change your last name so the post office course hopefully goes away. I swear to God. I will. I will. I will change my fucking last name if it means the post office will stop being mean to me.
それとも僕が男以外の生物に見えるのか。君の頭がイカれていて、たとえ万が一にそう見えていたとしても。
Oh, congratulations, you manliest of men. I have to regularly accept packages for our neighbor.
ちなみに、女の子みたいなどというスイーツともの
Praying for the financial benefits I sleep married. Do not recognize this guy's consideration. That's a new one.
可愛いと呼ばれて喜ぶ男など、オカマかホモか、女装癖がある変態くらいなものだからな。
Bro, are you good? I haven't even said anything. I'm pretty sure Alice is a girl's name, though.
だから君は名前だけで判断するのか？考えなしにも程がある。考えることを放棄している。
I do not appreciate what you literally just said, Alice.
いつの時代にも子供に珍しい名前を付けたがるバカな親は存在する。ジュゲム、パイポ、シューリンガン、グーリンダイ、ポンポコピー、ポンポコナみたいな。
Okay, I appreciate what they did in the translation, no? Back to looking. Do we have a look command? We do, actually. We do. It's one of the few commands I do have. Hey!
当然、性別の混同させるような名前など世にありふれている。アキラやヒカリやカオルやナギサ、リンやレイやマコト、ハルカといった風にな。
Half that was a free cast. Once again.
その中でアリスという男がいても、ペッコポピーな名前が流行ってる昨今。
And the pet. Yay! Thank you! So the two most important commands, the lurk and the pet. You're equating Alice to Apple. Ow! Out of nowhere, he pinched my cheek. Well, I mean, we're finally having a conversation, even though it is very much one-sided, and I'm going to ignore every mean thing you say because you're a little shit. You're the one who said it. I rubbed my cheek, pouting. Ow, 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 ow. This time you pinched my other cheek. Yes, I made food, which by this point is probably cold. I clapped both hands over my cheeks defensively. I just wanted to let you know dinner was ready. This guy just loves to hear himself speak, I swear. He's like, yes, my favorite pastime is listening to myself spout insults at random people I do not know. And we're like, okay. Yes, actually.
もしも僕がルームサービスの存在に気づかず、すでに食事を済ませていたらどうする？空腹に耐えかね、近くの店で安上がりの握り飯とウーロン茶で一服していたらどうする？
Well, I know the second option is not an option because you literally never leave your room. Also, I keep forgetting that this is kind of supposedly a modern world that they would have takeout you could order. I'm not. You know what? I will simply just let him talk. Look, I knocked on your door multiple times. Sorry. Don't apologize, Yurika. The only way I will apologize to this dude is with my fists. I slumped my shoulders. I am not your maid. Nor am I your servant. And I'm your maid servant even less. You make me want to strangle you, my good dude. Cream stew. You literally haven't even tried it yet. You don't know what it will taste like. What? Okay, you want me to bring it to you? I can do that. Be right back. And so on his count, I raced down the stairs. Why? Why bother? He's so weird. But he's still counting. I'm back. Gasping for breath, I held out a tray carrying his dinner. Get it yourself then next time. I think 5 minutes is pretty quick, personally. Brother, I will jump into this looking glass vault. And then we have a nice long talk. With our fists. And my friendship knife. I mean, I could bring it to you faster if you don't mind it spilling everywhere. Right.
想定以上の使いなさっぷりを発揮する中、シチューに白米という邪道極まりない選択をせずにいたことだけは褒めてやる。ほら、お前らの好きなツンデレだ。喜べ、俗物。
You're not a tsundere, you're just an asshole. Thank you.
だいたい甘ったるいシチューにご飯など狂気の沙汰としか思えない。僕は断固としてパンを支持する。僕はパン派であり、パン党だ。シチューにはパン、カレーには何という風にな。
I like rice with curry myself.
二大政党の一角だな。やはり君と僕は永遠に分かり合えない運命なのだ。
I think both options are very much valid. Though I haven't eaten curry in a while. In a long time, actually. Because most of the time curry is too spicy. And I'm not good with spicy food.
Cinnabon! I hope to never meet you again.
And so Alice snatched the tray from my hands and slammed the door in my face. What? A moment later, the door opened again.
ちなみに今後食事を用意するというのならば毎日決まった時間に部屋の前へ置いておくように僕は食事のたびに君と顔を合わせたくはないのでな
So I'm guessing he's also literally just a weird side character we don't truly know in this one. The same as in Red's world, but this time we actually get to meet him pretty early on.
ちなみに僕の起床時間は朝中だよく覚えておく
So you don't have a job. This time he closed the door for good and locked it.
おかえりなさい随分とやり込められていたようですねここまで声が聞こえまし
You
た
could have warned me. He's very interesting, isn't he? I choose my words carefully as I spoke.
変わっているイコール面白い人かあなたは優しい人だろくでなしでもクズでもそれ相応の
Yeah.
形容詞があるという
I think Yurika is a very strong character simply for how she actually manages to deal with lots of these people because they're all so annoying. I felt the statement was crossing a line but smiled awkwardly nonetheless. Is he always like that?
そうですねこちらが1言ったことに対し10返ってくる
Hmm.
ああ言えばこういうそういった皮肉屋で偏屈な人です
Sounds entertaining to say the least.
気に入ったようで何より
Greatly grinned. How long has he lived here anyway?
さあ気づいた時にはあの部屋に住んでいましたね
Interesting. So you don't know that much about him, even though he's a tenant in your house?
この家の主はシンデレラ兄さんですから兄さんが決めたことに対し僕たちは従うまでですなので僕はあのアリスという人
Well, I guess that can very much work out.
興味もないんですよ
I see. Perhaps it was in fact Cinderella who was the weirdest person in the
で
family.
も彼に関わると決めたのはあなただ責任を持って今後彼の面倒を
I mean, we're going to be cooking anyway, so what's the worst that could happen, you know?
任されました
ごちそうさま
Scrumptious. I think scrumptious is such a cute word. It's like, ah, yes, that was scrumptious. Gretel got to his feet, leaving his empty plate on the table. You're very welcome. Oh yeah, do you have any favorite dishes in particular?
作ってくれるんですか
I will try. If I can, sure.
じゃあ甘いものがいいな
Oh, I was about to say, why does Gretel like sweets so much? And then I, you know, before the thought had fully finished in my head, I was like, yeah, why does Gretel like sweets so much?
No, peanut brain, yes. I have a peanut brain.
Anything sweet. Okay, I'll think of something.
ほどほどに期待してます
But also, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. After Gretel left, I patiently waited for Cinderella to come home before I ate. I will stick by until dinner time had long since passed. He sure is out late tonight. You're German, you're supposed to be good at fairy tales. Yeah, I am. I am. My stomach rumbled for the upteenth time. I clutched my abdomen. I glanced over at the stove and debated reheating the stew now that it was almost certainly ice cold. Oh yeah, tell me one then. Okay, sure. Hold up. I will tell you one. In German though. Do you want it? Do you want a German fairy tale?
Oh, but first you want... I don't think I have one that fits in the 2-minute mark though.
Well, I could try. Hold up, let me see if I have anything in here that fits the 2-minute mark.
German voice. Commit this crime against the German language. What do you mean? Oh yeah, I could. Okay. Okay. It is time to read. Der süße Brei. Es war einmal ein armes, frommes Mädchen, das lebte mit seiner Mutter allein und sie hatten nicht mehr zu essen. Da ging das Kind hinaus in den Wald und begegnete ihm da eine alte Frau, die wusste seinen Jammer schon und schenkte ihm ein Töpfchen, zu dem sollte es sagen, Töpfchen koche. So koche es guten, süßen Hirsebrei. Und wenn es sagte Töpfchen steh, so hörte es wieder auf zu kochen. Das Mädchen brachte den Topf seiner Mutter heim und nun waren sie ihrer Armut und ihres Hungers ledig und aßen süßen Brei, so oft sie wollten. Auf eine Zeit war das Mädchen ausgegangen, da sprach die Mutter Töpfchen koche. Da kochte es und sie isst sich satt. Nun will sie, dass das Töpfchen wieder aufhören soll, aber sie weiß das Wort nicht. Also kocht es fort und der Brei steigt über den Rand hinaus und kocht immer zu, die Küche und das ganze Haus voll und das zweite Haus und dann die Straße, als woll es die ganze Welt satt machen und ist die größte Not und kein Mensch weiß sich da zu helfen. Endlich, wie nur noch ein einziges Haus übrig ist, da kommt das Kind heim und spricht nur Töpfchen steh. Da steht es und hört auf zu kochen und wer wieder in die Stadt wollte, der musste sich durchessen. Here you go. That's an entire German fairy tale. In Uwu voice. In German. Boom! Yes, it is that short. That's just what we do. That's just what we do. Sometimes we write fairy tales that are like, you know, long. And then we write ones that are like half a page. And they're all good. And we are waiting for Cinderella. Still. I shook my head, fighting the urge to sate my own needs. All this time I waited specifically so I could have dinner with Cinderella. If I ate without him, it would mean this hours-long investment was all in vain. As I wrestled with myself, the only thing I was Mädchen one. That's good enough. I don't actually know what this one, if this one has a popular English translation. Like, it's not that big. Like, technically it's sweet porridge. Yeah, I guess. It's about sweet porridge. And this little girl gets gifted a pot that can cook porridge on its own if you simply tell it to cook. Fairy Tales reading stream when? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But you know, I think it feels kind of unfair to the people who don't understand German. So, why would you want to get in the town if everyone probably down in the food? I mean, you could eat porridge for a long, long while. If you want. You can make it an ASMR thing and attract the nerds. I could, but I'd need a better microphone for that. And I need the guarantee that there's no trains coming by when I try to do that. I can read them in English. No, that won't feel right. If they're originally German, then that won't feel right. In walked the man himself. Welcome home, Cinderella. Would you like dinner? I ran over to him with a smile. That's unfortunate. Listen, I was wondering, would you mind if I cooked and cleaned for everyone? How much money do I even get, bro? Oh no, I don't need more money. But before I could even finish my sentence, he left the room without a second glance. What am I gonna do with the rest of the stew? Put it in the freezer? As I mumbled sadly to myself, my stomach squeaked at me. It's kind of cute, actually. Yes, very cute that you are starving yourself for hours and then the other person doesn't even appreciate it. Us sad girls still gotta eat. Oh, late that night. Well, good thing there's some stew left over, huh? Yes, yes. There is.
構あるじゃんか。さらみさらみだ。鍋？なんだこれ。シチュー。
I think it's pretty important how German fairy tales are written, so translating them isn't easy. That's true. It's hard. Like, I mean, even as a German myself, some of them are like, they're not hard to. No, they are hard to read. Because sometimes they're written in ways where you just think to yourself, no one talks like that anymore. No one. It's also very interesting to see because they're written in the first past tense. And you don't really use that one in the spoken German, but in the written language, it's the norm. But if you are aware of it, it for some reason always it like fucks with my brain. Like I never wonder about it, but then on one word I will notice it, and then my brain goes like, oh right, remember in written German it's always in the first past tense. So, and then I hone in on that the entire time. I don't know why. That stew is cold. Also, why are suspenders blue? Why is he even wearing suspenders? Don't do that. Now I have to. Oh, good morning, Cinderella. Cinderella rocked in right as I was preparing breakfast. He looked grumpy. Maybe he wasn't a morning person. I figured he walked out again, but instead he plopped himself down in a chair and stared at me. What's up? I looked back at him curiously. With what? He tapped his fingers on the table. Then he glanced pointedly at Gretel's plate. This could only mean one thing. You want me to cook for you? Well, talk to me then, bro. Oh, okay. Coming right up. And so I launched into cooking at the speed of light. A few minutes later, I plated a very fluffy omelette along with a salami and cheese croissant sandwich. To keep things healthy and add a splash of color, I dished him some fruit along with it. I don't trust people who eat big breakfast. Could never be me. I had a feeling this would suit your preferences. Oh, but if you'd rather have Japanese food, I can make you some fried fish and miso soup instead. Currently, I was heating up some French onion soup to go along with it. There's nothing wrong with eating fish and miso soup as breakfast. The croissant sandwich he was eating was actually cheaper than what I suggested, but I decided to keep that to myself. Oh, I just eat the leftover stew from last night. Cinderella munched on his croissant sandwich, sounding altogether disinterested. I watched him for a moment, then I decided to ask him something that had been on my mind. You know, it's funny. Last night I could have sworn there was a ton of stew left over, but come this morning I found there was only enough for one more serving. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Instantly he froze. Thank you so much for hiding that. A fairy by the name of Cinderella? Like 180 tall? Wears blue suspenders, yeah? Sound familiar to you? And also thank you so much for the posture check. Oh, of course, a fairy! He probably snuck in while I was sleeping and helped himself. I clapped my hands together. He gave a non-committal grunt. Hehe. As Gertie cut in, Cinderella felt silent. Oh, hell yeah, yeah! Time to tease him. You ate some, didn't you? No, I mean, it was for you. That's the entire point. And so he angrily admitted to his crime. Hehe. Annoyed, Cinderella averted his gaze. At this rate, he was likely to storm off somewhere. Okay, I gotta go take some up to Alice's room. Once you've eaten, I'll make you something to drink. I hastily took the hint and made myself Scars? Good morning, Alice! I called out to him from the other side of the door, but he didn't respond. Granted, it was quite possible he was still asleep. Why? Because it was 9 AM, and he told me he woke up every morning at 10. Now, you might be wondering why not arrive at 10 AM like he asked, and the answer is quite simple. 10 AM was when the cafe opened for business. Breakfast is ready. I'll leave it here for you. Unwilling to waste any more time, I dragged my bedside table out into the hall and set the tray on it. I mean, it's a cold breakfast anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and there's no pets around that could, you know, get their hands on it. Or paws, or whatever. Or claws. I don't know what kind of pets people have. When I returned to the kitchen, Gretel was rinsing his dirty dishes off in the sink. Oh, I can take care of that? Well, that's nice. Well, okay. Guess I'll take you up on that. Thanks, I appreciate it. I glanced over at Cinderella to find him nearly done with his own breakfast. In that case, I'll make us a little something to drink. How about some coffee? We also have black tea and green tea. Coffee. Espresso cafe au lait. What about you, Gretel? What is it? Wait. Yeah, you know, people always throw all these things around. I personally, as a non-coffee drinker, what the fuck is cafe au lait? Which one is that? Coffee with milk in it. It's literally just coffee where you put milk in. Am I seeing this correctly? Doesn't that just mean it could be any kind of coffee as long as you put milk in it? I don't know. I'm not a coffee drinker. Maybe you need to drink coffee to be able to appreciate it. Pinching the hem of my dress, I curtsied gracefully. Kasukomarimashita! Yeah! Humming to myself, I clicked the switch on the siphon coffee maker. Once the water began to boil, the steam rose to the top, mixing with the coffee grounds to begin the brewing process. Perfect! While I waited for the coffee to brew, I bustled around the dining area to get the milk and utensils ready. Yes? The next thing I knew, Cinderella and Gretel were suddenly standing behind me. Yes? Yep, this is actually my favorite way to make coffee. It's fun to watch the steam rise to the top, you know? Kinda like magic. And when it's all done, it smells amazing. But you bought it? Then what's the point of having one? I see. So it's both functional and aesthetic. That's so smart. But Cinderella didn't return my smile. What? No, I mean, if it looks good and it works, that's good, right? What's the point of having something that only looks good and doesn't work? I guess I'm a ditz then. I put my index finger to my chin and tilted my head in a cutesy display. Haha, sorry, but I'm not being sarcastic, honest. Oh, the coffee's nearly ready now. Go on and have a seat over there. At my suggestion, Cinderella fell silent and sat down. Ow! Who knew? Who Who knew that a wooden desk could be this hard? Ouch.
するかよ。
Oh. Thank you for the pet. 20 minutes later. There you go. I set 2 cups of coffee on the counter. I poured a cup for myself and joined them at the counter.
そういや、あんたの名前はなんだ?
I literally work for you! Huh? Was quite possibly the world's most belated question.
雇い主のくせにそんなことも知らなかったんですか?
こいつが名乗らねえからよ。
I wanted to tell him you didn't let me introduce myself, but I held my tongue. I'm Alice.
何アリスだよ。
Huh? Oh, my last name? Caught off guard, I couldn't help but stammer. Well, it's... Oh god, what do I do now? I knew I needed to give him something, anything, but nothing sprang to mind. As I hesitated.
まあいいや。俺的にはどうでもいいし。
Alright, sure! He shrugged. It was a rather sudden about face, considering he was the one who asked in the first place.
個人事業主としては大いに問題ある発言ですね。
That's true.
第一、契約書も交わしてねえし。
That is very much also true.
違法じゃないですか?
法人じゃねえから大丈夫だろ。
危ない橋渡りすぎていつか捕まりますよ。
So technically, we are working here illegally.
ただでさえも悪名高いあなたの弟だということで被害を被っているのに、
Oh.
身内が犯罪者だなんて耐えられない。
Don't worry, Gretel, if they try to arrest me, I'll just say I'm a tenant doing chores. I gave him a thumbs up.
ああ、じゃあその手でよろしくお願いいたします。
Gretel extended his hand and I shook it. And so the part of perjury was sealed.
おいこら、俺が捕まるの前提で話を進めんな。
Well, I mean... We're just joking around, right, Gretel? Yeah, I don't think he's joking around.
僕は本気ですけどね。
See? His smile didn't reach his eyes. Cinderella took a big, awkward sip of his coffee. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Cinderella, I wanted to talk to you about the cafe.
店? おう、そういや、昨日はどうだったんだ?
Well, we didn't have a single customer. We didn't get a single customer.
まあ、いつものことだね。
不良債権だな。まあいい。で、店がどうだって?
I think we need to fix this.
ああ、そりゃまあ良くないわな。で、話は終わりか?
Are you even interested in running this cafe? Why do you own it? What? I blinked at him. Look, you're trying to run a business, right? Don't you think you need to start bringing in some customers?
別にいいよ。客が来ても来なくても。
Listen, if I had the money to be able to run a cafe and not care if every single day it runs in the red because I have no customers, then I don't really need to run the cafe in the first place, right? Then I have enough money anyway. Then why did you hire me? He owns it so he can use it as living space. But like, you know, you could probably get a better living space that is not space above a cafe for cheaper. Oh, I get it. I didn't get it actually, but I nodded anyway. If he hired a total stranger poorly on a whim, then I was right. He was by far the weirdest person in this family. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, you're into property managing. I forget. You'd sell off your own cafe? You make me not interested in you as a potential love interest at all, which is very unfortunate considering that this is your route. Right. I couldn't think of anything more pertinent to say. Instead, I wondered absently how he would react if he found out I was his fairly wealthy prospective fiancé.
そもそも客が入らねえんだから仕入れも何もねえだろ。諸経費がかからないなら売り上げがなくてもあまり差はねえよ。
Then why call this a cafe at all?
さあな、こっちの感覚としては家買ってその家に住んでるってだけだ。
Excuse me.
I guess not. So then why even try to keep the cafe open in the first place?
もともとこの土地に目をつけて転売するつもりで購入したんだよ。喫茶店経営はその場のノリだノリ。土地を買ったついでについてきたおまけみたいな。
I'm surprised though that like no one comes in to check it out. Like they have to be aware that he's running it. So wouldn't at least people come to check it out and go, oh, I wonder what Cinderella's cafe is like.
何度も言うが、あんたと違って俺は金に困ってね。
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. He is a town celebrity. Wouldn't people go to check out a place that's run by a town celebrity? Like, I don't know, on the... If they're not interested in the place itself, but like on the off chance to see him? No?
ただ、そうだな。あんたの作る料理はうまいし。
I don't get it. I don't get rich people.
するかもな。
I don't get it. Just then he turned to look at me. Yes.
あんた、面白いことが好きか？
Sure. Excuse me. Oh yes, absolutely. I raised my hand in a pick-me gesture.
俺は楽しいことが好きだ。新しいものも珍しいものも大好きだ。だから面白そうなことには手を出さずにはいられなくなるたちだ。
So you're the curious type, I take it. My image of Cinderella continued to shift from an upper-class snob to a good Samaritan to an inquisitive oddball.
よし、決めた。
No, he's still a snob, though. Suddenly he slapped his tie.
今日からこの店をこの国一番の喫茶店にするぞ。
Why?
は？突然何言ってるんですか？
おいアリス、
Yes. I straightened my posture.
あんたが好きにやれよ。メニューを増やすなりなんなり思うようにやれ。俺が金を出してやる。
Ho!
で、それを元手にして俺をうならせるほど金を稼ぎ出して底辺からのし上がってこい。
Ho! We decided to fetch Snow White and give him an overview of our new goal.
店の経営
Apparently. Yep.
で俺に何かいい案がないか
Yep.
と特にない以上
Can you try a little harder, please? He turned on his heel, but I quickly grabbed him by the arm. Poor Grit loses his kitchen. Oh no. Wait, please don't go. He reluctantly turned back, a skull plastered on his face.
白雪、どうせお前も暇だろ。たまには手伝え。
俺がいても何の役にも立たない
Hello, welcome back. That's not true. You know what they say. 2 hats are better than 1.
なら規定数は満たしてる
He was referring to his brothers, of course.
白雪兄さん、諦めた方がいいですよ。この人のいつもの気まぐれです。
He had to check his thumb at Cinderella. Snow White's skull deepened, and Cinderella cleared his throat awkwardly.
おい、お前ら、ここの経営者は誰だ？
You own the place, but you don't actually run it. You don't do anything here.
シンデレラ兄さんですね。
お前らをここに置いてやってんのは誰だ？
Oh no! I know that feel when you hear the same sound over and over, and then it starts playing in your head.
そうだ。だったら誰に従うべきなのか理解できるな。可愛い弟たち。
Bonk, bonk, bonk. Oh, I have to try and draw a new bonk emote. That would be fun. Finally, Snow White plopped down into a chair as though he resigned himself for the worst. In contrast with Cinderella's smile, the younger guys both looked disgruntled. Sorry for dragging you into this.
別に余計なことをなんて思ってませんよ。
Oh, he's pissed, alright.
まあいいです。とりあえず話し合いとやらをして。
He stapled his fingers
議題
together.
はどうしたらこの店にお客が訪れるようになるかでいいですね。はい。じゃあまずは時計回りにアリスさんから意見をどうぞ。
Okay. Ah, my heart skipped a beat in surprise. Me? Okay, let's see. Suggest rebranding the cafe. Oh, okay. Personally, I think maybe this place is a bit too intimidating for the average customer.
この店は入りにくい雰囲気だから人が来ないと。
What have I missed in the story? We are now going to manage the cafe? We are cooking for everyone now? And also the other guy, whose name is also Alice, is, I don't know, perpetually stuck in his room, and whenever he does come out, when we ask him to, you know, eat the food we bring him, he's like an angry little dog. Not in a cafe management. No, it's not. It's not. It's literally just as rude where there's a cafe. I had forgotten about it before we started it, actually. Exactly. I mean, there's no sign-up phone, there's hardly a menu. Most people probably don't even realize there's a cafe at all. It was a pretty valid point, considering I was essentially flying by the seat of my pants here. You do? Cinderella squinted at me dubiously. Well, if you did, it's not there now. I squinted back. I knew I wasn't misremembering things. After all, the lack of signage had caught my attention the very first night I arrived. They probably never put it out. Snow White looked at him blankly.
兄さんが自分でどかして俺に押し付けたよね。
ああ、そういや店でパーティーするのにダンス。
Bro!
取っ払ったままだったな。お前、あの後どうしたんだよ。
捨てた。
Okay. Okay, he was just joking. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Good to know. He had a point. Meanwhile, I was starting to understand exactly how a stylish cafe in the heart of downtown came to have 0 customers. Oh, pick me! I raised my hand. What if I punch you in the face? Haha, just kidding. Unless... You've had at least 1 or 2 customers since the cafe's been open, right? So why haven't they been back? So what made them stop coming? He greatly shrugged his shoulders. What do you mean? It's literally your job to know these things. Oh. Naturally, everyone turned to look at Snow White. I think maybe the customer service was a teensy bit lacking in hospitality. This was currently our biggest issue, and I made sure to soften my statement as much as possible. Isn't it your problem if you don't actually run the cafe you're supposed to run? And Cinderella promptly ruined all my effort to be discreet. Cinderella! I lightly pinched his cheek. The cornerstone of great customer service is a great smile. I figured you could use some practice. A prick. My brush. My brush. And so he helped me practice right back. Once again, everyone looked at Snow White.
おい、白雪。ちょっと笑ってみろよ。
But Snow White turned away. Yes, that's a no.
おい、あんたが笑って。
He can hear you. He's in the same room. Who, me? Sure. I wasn't expecting Cinderella to request me directly. Now to put on my most winning grin and blow them all away. How's this? I donned my best smile.
10点だな。
Out of 10?
まあ多めに見て12点ってところじゃないですか。
Out of 20? This was the part where they were all supposed to blush, but instead they stared back dismally. So that's out of 50 points total, right?
100点満点に決まってるだろうが。
Okay, I want to see your watch me winning smile then. Your rating system sucks! I slumped my shoulders. I tried to make them weak in the knees, and what did I get? A punch in the gut.
無理強いはよくねえよな。
じゃあとりあえず白雪兄さんには引き続きこのままでいてもらうという。
In contrast to the treatment of me, they were more than happy to coddle Snow White. Well, something has to give. Just then it hit me. Oh, I know. Why don't we have greatly covered dining area? You're really friendly looking, so I'm sure you'll be a hit with all the girls.
何か今あなたの言葉に引っかかりを覚えましたが。
The winning smile is just one that looks like you're crazy. It always is. Like, every time you try to put on a especially friendly smile, it's like, I will kill you in your sleep. Nah, you're reading too much into it. I laughed and waved the hand dismissively.
僕がホールに出ても構いませんが、それだと調理側の人間がいなくなりますよ。
I could. Alright, what about you, Cinderella?
はあ？おいおい、俺はオーナーだ。金を出すのが役目であって、働かなくても。
No, actually, in most cafes, the owner is one of the people who actually does big work. Plenty of business owners help run their businesses. I wasn't backing down from this one.
じゃあこれからはシンデレラ兄さんも
Hell yeah!
ということで。
The way he cannot run around and, you know, spend his time going off who knows where.
あるに決まってんだろうが。なんでこの俺が。
俺は意味なし。
Majority vote, we win. Sounds good to me. Snow White and I immediately agreed, and Gretel soon followed suit.
僕も異議なし。ということで、多数決の結
There we go.
3対1でシンデレラ兄さんは今後店で働くということに決定しました。
Yay! Three of us applauded, happy to finally be on the same page for once.
おいおいおいおい。
Cinderella scowled as I shot him an encouraging thumbs up. Smile, Cinderella, shows us pearly whites, or else your grumpy skull will scare all the customers away.
黙れ10点。
Wow, that really hurts my feelings. Anyway, don't worry, Cinderella, I'll be there to help you every step of the way. He turned away sulking. Evidently, he'd lost the will to fight me on this.
その他に誰か意見はできれば建設的な意見で。
はい。
Oh? Snow White raised his hand.
珍しいな。
では、白雪兄さん、どうぞ。
こうして話をしていても拉致が開かない。もともと俺たちは店の経営やそもそも金銭的なことに対して執着がない。売れなくても暮らしていけるのだから、売れても売れなくても構わない。
Okay, but it would be a nice thing to do, right?
だけど、それは俺たちに限ったことで。
This is just cafe enchanted with fairy tales instead of hot demon. Just this one though. So what you're saying is we should be using these other cafes as a reference point. Snow White nodded his assent at my interpretation of his statement.
それはいいですね。現場の声からプロセス
Also,
改善
this game is older than Cafe Enchanted by quite a few years.
貧乏人から学べってことだな。
Stop saying bimbo! I know that's a Japanese word, but stop. Well, that's rude. Who says they're all plebs? What if they're spoiled layabouts like you? Who even cares?
視察だよ。俺とグレーテルはここに残って待ってるから。
What?
兄さんたちが行ってきて。
So, you want us out of the house? That's what you're trying to do.
カチッて。
Cinderella and I exchanged a glance.
しょうがね
Okay,
そう
sure.
となれば今から行くぞ。
Let's go look at other cafes. He grabbed my arm and got to his feet. Wait, what? What about the cafe?
こいつらが適当にやるだろう。
I mean, they're not going to be getting any customers anyway. What? Hey, slow down! And so Cinderella dragged me off, his two younger brothers waving after us.
いってらっしゃい。
ごゆっくり。
Okay. Oh, don't! That works too! Have a safe trip! I have no say in the matter. Die then! I feel like they were looking for an excuse to get rid of us.
気がするじゃなくてそうなんだろ
Oh. You could tell?
う。まあな、あいつらは基本やる気ない愛想がない働く気がないのないない尽くしだから。
Well, if they don't have to work for anything, if they've never had to work for anything in their whole life, why would they be ambitious for something like this? Boy, I've got my work cut out for me.
だいたい朝飯食ったばかりで他のもん食えねえっての。
Good point. So where to first? Cinderella was leading the way, but I had no idea where exactly he was taking me.
いいから俺に黙ってついてこい。
What is this, the 1950s? He ignored me and started walking faster. Well! Wait, Cinderella, wait for me! Don't lose your shoes! And so there we were, seated in a well-known looking glass restaurant. Cinderella. I peered at him from behind my menu. Cinderella stared back, resting one elbow on the table. This is a restaurant, right?
まあそうだな。いわゆるレストランだ。
But you just said you couldn't eat more, so what are we doing here?
何って敵情視察に決まってんだろ。
I mean, yes. I looked around the room. It was the middle of the day, yet we were the only customers. As I carefully observed our surroundings, I couldn't help but wonder if maybe we would have been better off choosing a slightly more popular place for our record mission. The restaurant had a spacious dining area with counter seats in addition to 4-person tables. The interior design had a muted modern feel to it, pretty classy. The menu was all French cuisine, exotic but not too foreign. It made me all the more curious why the place wasn't more popular. Maybe the location was the biggest factor then? The restaurant was situated in an alley with minimal foot traffic and no parking lot. A parking lot? Do they have cars in this? How modern is this game? Cinderella raised his hand and the waiter promptly came over, wearing his best smile.
とりあえずここにあるメニュー上から下まで全部持ってこい。
Who's going to eat that? Huh? I was certain I must have heard wrong. Surely he hadn't said that.
聞こえなかったのか。この店にある品全部持ってこいって言ってんだよ。
Apparently I had heard
こ
correctly.
ちらにあるすべてのメニューでよろしいのでしょうか。
The poor waiter could scarcely believe it. Not that I blamed him, even I was having trouble believing it and I was sitting at the table. But Cinderella didn't seem to appreciate the waiter's bewilderment. He scoffed coldly.
俺の言葉が信じられねえってのか。なら先払いしてやるよ。
With that, he pulled out a wad of cash and tossed it down on the table.
ほら、これで文句ねえだろ。いいからしのごの言わずに
Who's going to eat
持
that?
ってこいよ。
Whoa, hold the phone. I couldn't begin to process what he had just
は
done.
い。かしこまりました。ありがとうございます。少々お待ちくださいませ。
Who's going to eat it? The waiter quickly recovered from his shock. After a deep bow, he hurried off into the back. Cinderella? I stared at him slack-jawed.
なんだよ、うっせえな。
You are planning to eat all of that, right?
もちろん全部食べないつもりだ。
Then why did you order so much?
どうしてって敵情視察って言ってんだろ。日本語わかるか ?Do you understand?
Do you understand? Bro! わかりますよ. But you said you couldn't eat another bite after the breakfast we had.
まあな。
And yet you're going to order the whole menu.
ああ、そうだ。
My jaw dropped even further. Surely you could have just asked him to recommend his favorites.
そんなちまちました頼み方で視察になるかよ。
No, but if it's a record mission, then we're supposed to check out more than just one cafe. So if we already order everything that one cafe has to offer, we won't fucking have any space left in our stomachs to check out other cafes. Maybe you're right about that. I glance over at the kitchen. The chef must have heard the story from the waiter because he bowed politely to us. If you don't eat it, it'll get tossed out, won't it? In response to his wastefulness, I disapprove. I can't say I approve of this, Cinderella. I decided to tell him the hard truth. I'm referring to how wasteful you're being. We call this move the lazy researcher because we only look at one thing and go, yeah, good enough. Cinderella gave a non-committal grunt in reply. Annoyed at how disrespectful he was acting, I kept going. Cinderella, there's so many people in this world who go hungry every day. Doesn't it make you feel guilty for doing this? I stared back aghast. I wasn't angry, I wasn't disappointed. I was just blown away by this utter lack of hesitation. No, but it could go to someone else who orders it, who actually plans on eating it. Well, no. I felt silent as Cinderella continued. I mean, you could take it and give it to poor kids. If you'd feel so inclined to do it. Capitalism is one hell of a drug. His argument was perfectly sound. No. There was a lot of words to say at the moment, but I couldn't find the words. He snorted at me as I glared back at him. My stomach hurts. I clutched my overfull belly. Well, I mean, it would be a waste otherwise. I couldn't help it. I felt so bad for the restaurant. We ended up leaving most of the food completely untouched. For politeness' sake, I wanted to try to eat as much as possible, but I had to give up after my 5th plate. We could have asked them to take it with us, though. Was that not a thing in Japan? I don't know if that's a thing in Japan, but here we regularly asked, like, if there's lots of food still left on our plate and we can't finish it, we regularly ask them to, you know, pack it and take it back home with us, reheat it, eat it the next day. It's better than having to throw it away, right? I just feel guilty, that's all. Man, I don't trust rich people. I looked up at him. You going to keep doing this? Either he was a tyrant or just incredibly foolish. Fine, I go with you. At this point, I was in a to hell with it sort of mood. This is the first time anyone said that to me. Cinderella glanced at me out of the corner of his eye and chuckled. What? A group of mischievous boys bumped into me as I ran past, knocking me off balance. Cinderella grabbed my arm to stop me from falling. Normally I would have been all aflutter about the sudden act of kindness, but the jerky movement jostled the contents of my stomach and I clapped a hand over my mouth. He indicated the sidewalk in a go-ahead walk gesture. No! Please no! God, no, anything but that. Won't be able to go to any restaurant in that area again if he really does it ever. Listen, I really don't trust him actually being that rich. I don't trust it. Sorry. Okay. Seeing as I was under the weather, Cinderella had brought me here to the Looking Glass Lake. I really liked this place. Here was quiet and the air was crisp and clean. I felt healed in body and mind.
少し黙ってろ。気分が悪いんじゃねえのかよ。
I was hoping maybe a little conversation would help burn some calories. I rubbed my swollen belly.
動け。
That's the thing, I feel worse if I move.
ただ怠け者じゃねえか。デブになるぞ。
It was one. Listen. This was one time that I gorged myself on food. I'm not going to. Oh my god. I won't. I will simply stop talking. Oink oink.
それは
That's a
豚だ。
pig.
どっちも同じ意味か。タンク。
What do you do most days anyway?
何をしているって何をだ。
I mean exactly what I said. How do you normally spend your days?
なんでだよ。
I don't know, because I would like to get to know you better. Well, I'm a tiny bit curious about your life. How about you?
告白かよ。
Cinderella snorted, but I didn't crack a smile. Maybe I am.
はあ残念だったな。この俺が魅力的なのはよーくわかるが、俺に
Too bad.
あんたは興味の対象外だ。
It's not a romantic thing, I just generally want to know more about you.
わけがわかんねえな。知ってどうするんだよ。
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
なんだそりゃ。
Cinderella stared at me dubiously. Not surprised there, of course. If someone told me they wanted to know more about me out of the blue like that, I'd assume they were trying to recruit me into a cult. Fortunately, there were no cults involved here. There better not be. Cinderella... I turned back to face him, straightening my posture.
なんだ。
I know we've only just met, but at the very least I want to understand you as a person. I want to get to know you. It was my extremely roundabout way of asking him to talk more about himself. A moment of silence passed, and then finally...
だから俺に語れってのか。
he took the hint. Yeah! I smiled brightly.
ばっかじゃねえのか。そう言われて、ほいほい他人に語るわけねえだろうが。あんたは俺の友人か兄弟か違うだろ。
You're
あん
talking...
たと俺は他人だ。
You're talking a
他
lot.
人に語ることなんて何もねえ。
Considering we're supposed to be strangers.
Sometimes being strangers makes it easier to talk.
全く関係のない二度と会うこともないだろう赤の他人ならな。
Then what do I have to do? Tell me. I leaned in and Cinderella reflexively leaned back.
知るか自分で考えろ。
Bleh. I pouted. At this point, my only option was to use my trump card. I would be really strange if strangers if you've seen it all.
はあ何をだよ。
Uh-oh. Are you trying to play dumb?
だから何を。
My naked body. Cinderella promptly choked on his own spit. Are you okay? I rubbed his back as he coughed. Okay, good. So, anyways, you saw me naked on my first night at a cafe, remember? I jumped right back into the previous conversation without a moment's delay. Don't try to tell me you forgot.
まあそういうこともあったかもしれねえな。
Cinderella. I smiled coldly.
不可抗力だ。別に見たくて見たんじゃねえよ。
Ouch, that hurts my feelings. Here we go with the excuses. Yeah, I can tell he's flustered. Are you trying to say I'm ugly? I pouted and began to fake cry.
わかりやすい嘘ついてるんじゃねえよ。
Damn it. Dang it, busted. I stuck out my tongue.
だいたいなんで今さら蒸し返すんだよ。気にしてたんならその時言えばよか
Well,
った
I mean, maybe you forgot it in your drunken stupor, who knows? Because we only just met and I didn't want to make things awkward between us, so I tried my best to forget it.
そのまま忘れちまえ。
Nope. I can't. No girl on earth could just shrug off some guy seeing her naked. How am I supposed to get married now? And you never even apologized for it, so now it's my bargaining chip. Cinderella's cheek twitched.
俺を脅すのか。いい度胸じゃねえか。
I
いくら欲しい
want to know more about you, that's what I've been saying. I'm not going to accept payment for showing you my body. I'm not a prostitute. So I'd like you to compensate me in a different way. Will you pay the price for your crime? Well, I looked firmly into his eyes as I spoke. Oh, great. Now take backsies. Now let's go. I got to my feet, grabbed his arm and yanked him up with me. This time, it's my turn. Oh, okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Yes! I thrust my fist into the air victoriously. I win again. Looks like I'm on a winning streak. I snickered mischievously. No surprise there, of course. Cinderella gets drowned by a angry cafe owner. Yes, you heard correctly. We'd been playing rock, paper, scissors and I won every time. At this point, I was drunk on victory. Sure thing. I never turn down a challenge, you see. That's my policy. If you... I see. In that case, I play paper. Ready? Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors. Sure enough, Cinderella played scissors. Naturally, I played rock. How are you going to make it that obvious what you're going to play? Cinderella slumped his shoulders like he could hardly believe it. It appears I can beat you at mind games too. Well, that marks my 16th win. I'm starting to think you might be bad at this game. His waving confidence only made me all the more certain. I see. I feel like I've learned something new about you. Note to self, Cinderella's a very bad gambler. I literally get you because you say, oh, I'm going to play rock. And then I go, oh, I'm going to play paper, which means, and that makes you switch over to scissors. And then I simply play rock. Maybe you're right. Anyway, I guess you'll be carrying all the shopping bags. Suddenly, he took the excessive number of bags from my hands. You see, we weren't just playing rock, paper, scissors for fun. We were playing to determine which of us would be carrying all this crap. Need me to carry it for you? I reached out for the bags, but he yanked them away. Hehe. Well, alright then. Now where to next? Oh, how about that place over there? Then we can play rock, paper, scissors again. I pointed to a nearby department store. Nope. Far from it, I'm going to keep searching until I find the perfect tea leaves and coffee beans. We have to be particular if we're going to outshine all the rest. What about you? Still planning to spend more money? I indicated the shopping bags in his hands. His tone was flat and disinterested. You see, most of the shopping bags were entirely unrelated to the betterment of the cafe. Instead, Cinderella had been buying things for himself. No matter where he went, he would purchase whatever struck his fancy. He reminded me of some kind of oil baron, the way he threw his money around. What are you planning to do with all that? Man, I haven't bought new clothes ever since, you know, Ms. Rona came around. I think by now you are allowed to visit clothing stores again, but I don't really, you know, want to go in. Cinderella saw him see naked, now this is a punishment. Yeah, like the first night he came back into the room and was like, oh, by the way, the bathroom is that way, and we were in the middle of changing. So you bought things you don't even know if you need. You sure have an interesting approach to buying things. At this point I wasn't even envious, just impressed, if you can call it that. I am not a street rat! Yeah, maybe so. All of a sudden he came to a stop. What's wrong? I had my arms out in the event that the bags were too much for him to carry after all. Go get yourself some new clothes from online, you deserve it. Yeah. Yeah, I should. But I miss the feeling of going into a clothing store and actually trying them on, you know? It was not a waste, I'll have you know. It's a perfect opportunity. He seemed to ponder this for a moment. It's like when you try on something and it actually fits perfectly. When you stand there and look at yourself in the mirror, it's like, nice. Because buying clothes online, I have to commit to that because I hate having to send stuff back. I quite literally do own some things because I didn't want to go through the trouble of sending them back, despite them not fitting or something like that. Fuck yeah, just come with me. Right. It's like, nice, I found something good. Chigao, don't you see this is a date? Why don't you date to charity? And I do. We regularly. I also take old clothes that I simply don't wear anymore, but that are still in good condition. I also give them away regularly. But like, I don't know. What's a random kid going to do with a Sailor Moon shirt that I bought years ago and like wore twice because it simply doesn't fit? It's just like, ah, yes, cool. You don't know. Okay. Become a magical hero. Maybe. I whacked my index finger in front of his face. Shopping together is one of the nicest things you can do. Both grocery shopping and shopping for other stuff. Grocery shopping together with other people has something very cozy to it. Like, I like to go grocery shopping with friends whenever we hang out with each other. It's a nice thing to do. It's like, okay, we get some snacks, we get some essentials, blah blah blah. It's nice. You got my finger and lowered it. Fine, whatever you say, I'm just having a good time seeing the sights. I clasped my hands behind my back and glanced all around. Naturally, there was nothing around to see but the shopping district, tourist attraction, and the passers-by, a mix of tourists and locals. Sure, maybe it's nothing that special, but sometimes these things are just more fun when you're with someone else. It was hard to get the words out without blushing. What? Cinderella looked downright disgusted. What a jerk. As I was thinking of comeback, something suddenly caught my eye. What are they doing over there? This man. He called you cringe. Crowded form just up ahead. I looked up at Cinderella, my eyes sparkling with excitement. Damn. Maybe we were cringe all along. Dabs. You don't mind? Do people even dab anymore? I feel like the time when you know, dabbing was big and cringy has already passed. Yay! And so with Cinderella's blessing, I happily joined the crowd. Beyond the sea of people, I could make out a display window illuminated with decorative lights. Beneath the luxurious chandelier were pedestals of varying sizes, each adorned with a pair of high heels. I played a Vienna about dabbing earlier today. Oh my god, really? Miniature glass houses sat around the pedestals, and I could see light shining through their little windows. Evidently, the display was themed around a looking-glass world. Eventually, the people up front moved away, and I made it right up close. Wow, it's so pretty! I pressed my hands against the window and eagerly peered inside. The shoes are gorgeous, too. Is that a new style? My enthusiasm spiked, and I started grinning from ear to ear. I was admittedly a sucker for all things chic and trendy. MC looks really right. She's so cute. Just then in the reflection of the window pane, I saw Cinderella walk up next to me. Look, Cinderella, isn't it pretty? I beamed at him. Then I remembered that he was a guy and probably wouldn't be interested. Sakuya easily gives you advice and dabs. Could be a meme, but I don't know. I haven't seen Toho memes in a long time. My eyes widened in surprise. His tone and expression were both strangely gentle. Oh, nothing. I peered up at him. He looked so wistful, you'd never have guessed he was normally a smug, self-serving bastard 24/7. But just as I was recovering from the shock,
あの靴が欲しいのか
when would I ever wear those? What?
なら俺が買ってやるよ
Perhaps I'd spoken too soon. What? Why would you buy them for me? You don't owe me anything.
そうだなむしろ返す側だよな
Exactly. Not only had he given me a job, but he was even letting me live in his house. I couldn't possibly be so greedy as to ask for more. Maybe Cinderella's lack of integrity would allow for it, but mine most certainly would not.
でもあれが欲しいんだろずいぶん物欲しそう
Okay, but me thinking something is pretty does not equal me wanting to own
あ
it.
んたは素直に俺に感謝しとけばいいんだよ
I wasn't drooling over them, I was just admiring them. I can't let you splurge on me like that. You're not even my boyfriend or anything. Or we can change that.
さっきデートが何とか抜かしてただろ
I faltered. Okay, yeah, but still I refuse to accept a gift from you when I know your heart isn't it. Cinderella quirked the
わ
brow.
かんねえな別に俺があんたのことを何とも思ってなくても俺が買ってやるんだよあんたもあれが欲しいんだろなら別にどっちも損はしねえだろう
No, it really isn't. I grabbed his arm and tried to drag him
が
away.
おいあんまくっつくな胸が
Just then something unexpectedly brushed my ankles. Eh? I let out a shriek and shoved Cinderella away.
なんだよ
Sorry, I felt something touch my foot. Oh, it's just a cat. A black cat nuzzled up against my calf. What a cutie! You know, a cat on your leg, at your leg, would feel quite different. Why did she scream then? I gave her a scritch on her chin and she started to purr happily.
黒猫かよどこが可愛いんだ
Cats are always cute. Excuse me? Cinderella reached out to pet her, and she promptly bit his hand. Ha, you deserve that.
いって
It must have really hurt because he curled up in a fetal position on the spot. Are you okay?
こいつ思いっきり噛みやがったくそ
Have you ever seen a gay anime movie called Tokyosei? I have... Yes, Wait, I have seen both the movie and I own the manga. I really don't like the Cinderella guy. Yeah! Cinderella glared at the cat who stared smugly back. I took his hand. There was a puncture wound and he was bleeding. We need to get this cleaned up. With his hand still in mine, I led him to a nearby drinking fountain. Okay, and I'm going to use this as a point where I will save and end, because I have no clue how long all of these scenes will still go for, so we're just gonna use that as a chance. I'm going to watch it with a friend very soon. Hope it's good. It is! It is! It is! Tokyosei I like very much. I love the movie very much. I think the movie is a very good adaptation of the source material. I should watch it again sometime. I like the original manga as well. It has a very distinct art style. Like, I cannot remember the mangaka's name, but I sure as hell could recognize the art style. I like it. I like it very much. Get your Z's. Yeah, we will be getting those Z's. We will be getting those Z's. Soon. Soonish. But first... let's see who's live. Who's live? Lottie's playing Steam Prison, but I actually want to play that game myself, so I don't want to get spoiled. I'm sorry. Just wait, Maury's empty chat. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? She's gonna come into my Discord and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But,
memes in it. True. Maybe someone is actually in a chat. Yosoda is still playing Dark Souls though. Endurance crowd control Dark Souls. I mean, why not, right? You know, for all the memes about Dark Souls, I actually know close to nothing about it. It's like, exists. There's all those memes about, oh, the games are very hard, blah, 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 blah. But other than that, I know nothing about the games. I know that they're not the kind of games I would ever play myself, probably. And that's it. Great, right? Dark Souls is fun, in my opinion. I mean, that's good. That's good. I don't really know. I like overcoming challenges. I see. Well, I tried playing Bloodborne once. It didn't go very well. I don't think I would be having fun with Dark Souls. You only tried Bloodborne when I was with it. Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, I like the aesthetic of the game. I only played it because a friend gave it to me. And he likes it very much. But it's hard. I don't have the energy for those kind of games. If you have them, good for you. I don't. But yeah. Wasn't as hard as I imagined, but definitely challenging. I could not pass. I don't know. There were some weird dog, wolf thingies that show up like 2 minutes into the game. 3 if you go slowly. I could not pass them. They killed me. So that was my experience with Bloodborne. You quick learn in general. That's good though. That's good. That's good. I know I'm not that good at games, but I still enjoy them. That's good enough for me. If I enjoy a game, even if I'm not good at it, that's good enough for me. And if I, by some chance, am actually good at the game, then I enjoy that even more. But this is where we're going to end today. Which means we're going to... Wait, we're going to continue this game on Sunday. More of Cinderella's route. Hopefully more of him actually getting a better personality. We love it when people enjoy games. That we do. That we do. Which is why I hope to bring you guys games I know I will enjoy. Or well, hopefully will enjoy. So we can all have lots of fun together. Yeah. But for now, I'm going to press a bunch of buttons. First, I'm going to press this one, and then I will give you all the right message as always. It was a nice stream. Good night. Thank you so much. I'm glad you had fun. Even though we had some troubles, as always. But let me switch the screen. Good night, Noah. Good night. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had fun. Here we go. Let me turn this off. Thanks for comfy stream. Anytime. It's my pleasure. And thank you so much for the pet. Let's go say hello to Yosoda, who is doing that endurance thingy. Jesus. Oh, on day 3. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming tonight. I see you all soon. Good night. Bye bye.